my name's Erica Henry, and I'm an artist, an illustrator, and a surface pattern designer. I enjoy creating beautiful things for this world, and I love teaching others how to do the same. I also run my own surface pattern design school, where I also have lots of free and paid content, and you just go to artbyericah.com, select 4 designers, and you can learn more about how to join. I'm so excited to have you in class today. Feel free to ask me any questions that you might have or any suggestions or anything like that, and I hope you enjoy this class. How to grow your portfolio fast. Why would you want to build your portfolio fast? Well, the simplest answer is because the more you have out there, the easier you're going to get found. The more that you have out there, the easier it's going to be for agents to find your stuff. The easier it's going to be for potential clients to find you. It's going to give them lots of designs to choose from. It's going to make you more likely to show up in different searches, because if you only have a few designs, it's going to be very hard for Google to find you. If you've got 200 designs, it's going to be a lot easier. And most importantly to me, the more that you create, the better your designs will become. When I first started, my designs were okay. They were good technically, but I struggled with some things. And the more that I did it, the faster I became and the better my designs became. So how can you build your portfolio fast? You can recycle your motifs, and I'm going to show you some examples of that. So this is my home is where the heart is pattern. And this was one of my hero patterns in my backyard garden collection. And I have lots and lots of motifs here. And I was able to take some of these individual motifs and create additional patterns with them. These are my friendship wreath patterns. This is one of the motifs that was in that original hero pattern. And by taking it out and separating it and creating its own pattern, I was able to expand my pattern collection. I did the same thing with this motif. It just took one of them, varied the sizes, and we had another set of patterns. I did the same thing with my all in the row patterns. I took 3 different elements from the previous hero pattern and I created its own set of patterns from that. So by recycling my motifs, I was able to create lots of patterns in a short amount of time. So instead of having to start all over again, I already had a base. I already had the elements drawn. I already had them vectorized. A lot of the work was already done for me. So you can also change your colors in order to build your portfolio fast. Let's take a look at this. So in this all in a row pattern, I was able to change the colorway very quickly by using the Recolor Artwork tool, and I was able to create 6 different patterns that I felt worked well. I used my color palette and just rearranged those colors. And instead of having just one pattern, I was able to create 6 different ones. Same thing with this centerpiece pattern. I created 7 different patterns by just changing the colors. Home is where the heart is. Same thing. So by starting with one pattern, I was able to create a snowball effect and make around 40 different patterns, if I remember correctly, in the entire collection. And I could have made more, but that's where I felt like, okay, that's enough. So just to show you that taking these simple ideas and tips and tricks can really help you expand your portfolio. Another thing about color is don't forget about black and white. This is my Wish Upon a Star pattern, and I created different colorways with it, but then I also created these black and white ones, and they work really well together. It's a quick and simple change that will create 2 more patterns for you very quickly. Black and white goes with a lot of things, and so I do anticipate them getting licensed pretty easily. Another thing you can do is play with the transparency. This is one that was a little tricky for me to do and to figure out, but once I got it, it was awesome. And I was able to take something as simple as a star and create something completely new with it and on a more intricate and detailed level. I really, really love the look and feel of these transparent patterns, and I think they're going to look amazing once they're on a product, especially something like fabric. I could see this being a decorative pillow, something like that very easily. And it's just creates a whole nother layer to it whenever you start playing with the transparency. So that's just another quick way to add additional patterns to your portfolio. You can also vary the size of your motifs and change your layout as well. So let's go back to the stars example. I have 8 different patterns here that I created very easily using the same exact element. And they all look different. And after I create them, then I can go in and I can change the color and create even more patterns. It really, really does add up if you just continue to work with the patterns and do some of these tips and tricks. Every single one of these patterns gives a different feel and could be used for a different purpose as well. And they all can be licensed. You can also combine stripes with your motifs very easily. Those can be hand-drawn stripes, or they can just be a rectangle made with Illustrator, which is the motifs on top. It's a very quick and simple way to add an additional type of pattern to something that you've already created that you don't have to start from scratch with. Another big tip I have for you is don't sweat the small stuff. When I was first starting to learn how to create patterns, it took me forever to create a pattern. And that's because I would spend hours on one design, tweaking it, changing things, moving something just the tiniest bit this way, making it just the tiniest bit bigger, tiniest bit smaller. I got really caught up in the design process, and I really lost a lot of the artistic parts of it because I was too worried in all of those fine details. Another thing is when I first started, I would try to work with my color palette and create the patterns, and that just did not work for me. That was too many decisions that I constantly had to make. It wasn't until I started using one palette when I got started. It was the same palette I used, and I would start tweaking it to where I thought I needed it, and then I would create my pattern. Once I had my pattern designed, then I would start recoloring it to the palette that I thought really fit the pattern. And this really helped me because I could focus on just one part of the pattern creating process, and I could give it my all instead of being spread too thin. So that's another tip that I have for you. Don't stress the color palette. Create your pattern. Don't get caught up in tweaking forever. You can always change it later. Get a basic design down and then start tweaking and changing the colors, and you'll have new patterns before you know it. I hope you enjoyed the class. It was a lot of fun to create, and I cannot wait to see what you do with the tips that I had for you. If you enjoyed this class and you would like to take others like this, please consider joining my monthly membership. My monthly membership has classes like this as well as exclusive content just for my monthly members. You just go to artbyericah.com, select 4 designers, and you can learn more about how to join. And best of all, it's free. You can even check out my exclusive content for my paid members for a full month for free. Details about that are in the description below.